Hi everyone, I'm Nathan with the ebookreader.com. The other day I posted this review of the Hisense Sero 7 Pro. You may have seen the video. I wanted to go ahead and post a comparison between the Hisense Sero 7 and the Google Nexus because they are so similar. I couldn't help but talk about the Nexus and half the review with the Sero 7 just because they are so similar, and then I just thought I'd go ahead and put together this comparison review for you guys just to show you the differences. I mean, I don't expect the Nexus 7 to stay in this condition for much longer. I expect Google to release an updated model, so this is going to be kind of comparing the Hisense Sero 7 Pro with the original Nexus 7. So the biggest difference here with these two devices is that this one, the Hisense Sero 7, sells from Walmart and it sells for $50 less than the Nexus 7. So the Nexus 7 is about $200, and in this one it's $149 at Walmart. So obviously that's a big plus starting off right off the bat. A couple of the other pluses with the Hisense Sero is it's got a micro SD card slot, and it's got an HDMI port. Both of those are lacking on the Google Nexus tablet. Another thing that's lacking on the Nexus is a rear camera. So the Hisense has a rear camera and rear flash. Otherwise, these two devices are very similar. I mean, the software is virtually identical. They're both running Android 4.2. We go down here, scroll down to About. This one's running 4.2.1, this one's running 4.2.2. So obviously with the Google tablet you're going to get the latest updates sooner than you are with any other tablet. So that's why the Nexus is running 4.2.2 and the Hisense is running 4.2.1. But otherwise the two, I mean, they're very, very similar. You'll notice one little difference here with the Hisense. It's got this screenshot button right there. So if you want to take screenshots you can just easily hit that button. Whereas the Nexus, you got to do the usual Android mode where you hold the power button and then hold the hit the volume down button, so it takes a little bit more timing to get the screenshot on there. So it is a little bit nicer having that little button right there. As far as the landscape mode, I did notice one thing here. So the Hisense, when I have these apps at the top, they seem to touch the top border there. With the Nexus, they don't touch the top border. There's a little bit of a padding there, so you can see just a little bit of padding. These ones, it seems to touch the border, so that's just one minor detail I just noticed with the landscape mode. As you can see, they do switch about the same speed. So they both have 1.3 gigahertz quad-core Tegra 3 processors, so very similar performance-wise. Let's go ahead and run a couple of benchmarks on these guys, and let me show you what we got here as far as numbers. Okay, so I fast forward the video a little here so we don't have to watch the whole benchmark process. A couple other things I'll mention. Both guys, they have front-facing cameras. They both have the same kind of screen. It's a 1280 by 800 pixel screen. I don't know if it's going to show up on this video or not, but the whites are a little bit whiter on the Hisense, and I'd also say the colors are just a little bit brighter on the Hisense. They're just a little bit more smoky on the Nexus tablet. It's sort of like the same when you do viewing angles. I'd say that the Hisense's viewing angles are just slightly better. They're really good on the Nexus too. It just seems the screen goes a little smoky when you go into different angles. So here's how we tested. The Hisense scored 4086 and the Nexus only scored 3542 for some reason. So Hisense got a better score on the quadrant score. Let's go ahead and try this other benchmark test right here. Okay, so while these two benchmarks are running, I'll go ahead and explain a couple other differences. So the Nexus has this sort of metal edge right here, and it's sort of more tapered, and then it's got this sort of back that's like imitation leather, and it's got these little indentations. It feels really nice. It's got a real classy feel to it, and we've got the speaker down here. So the Hisense, it feels like it's a little bit thicker, but I mean the difference is like 1 millimeter. When you put them side by side like this, it doesn't seem like they're hardly any difference at all thickness wise, but when you're holding it, it just feels like it's a little thicker because the edges aren't tapered as much as the Nexus, and it doesn't have that metal band going around it. That still feels nice and solid though. As far as the back material, it's got this like textured feel to it, and it just has just enough of a rubbery coating that it actually feels nice on your hands. So the Nexus, I would say, has just a little bit better build quality. But the Hisense is pretty close. I mean, it's still pretty nice. One thing is this has a little bit of flex on the back, and if you push it in, it kind of clicks a little bit. But otherwise, it's pretty nice, pretty solid. This also has NFC chip right here, so does the Nexus. They both have NFC chips. They both have Bluetooth. They both have GPS. So, I mean, a lot of the features are very similar between these two tablets. Okay, so as these results wrap up, this one finished a little earlier because it doesn't have to test the SD card's writing speed and stuff like that. So, look at our scores. They're almost identical. We got 11,869 on the Hisense, and we got 11,825 on the Nexus 7. So, very comparable with those two benchmark scores. What's funny about this one, last time I tested it, it was 1,000 points lower. So, whatever, now they both got the same, same amount of score on there. So, as far as the touchscreen, the Nexus does have an edge with the touchscreen, and I'll show you right here what that edge is. It's the fact that you can use 10-point capacitive touch. So this one has 5-point capacitive touch. So if you touch on the screen at 10 different spots here, it will actually register all of those. So this one, it has a 5-point spot, so you see all those other hands, it's not working. So that one does have double the response points for the touchscreen. Okay, so both devices support GPS. As you can see here, the Nexus always seems to have just a slight better signal, so we got 8 and then Hisense has 7. So it definitely comes in handy with the GPS features for a lot of apps, map apps especially. Some of the other stuff I wanted to talk about is just the fact that it comes with all the Google apps. Both of them do. Both of them have, Google Maps, Google Play, Google, everything you could want from the Google Store. I mean, there's really not anything different from these two devices from a software standpoint. Just a couple of subtle tweaks, like this one has the power saving mode available right there, and this one obviously it doesn't have that option there. So like I said, both have Bluetooth, both have the NFC chip, so there's just a lot of similarities. This device comes with a couple Walmart specific apps, with the Walmart actual app, and it also comes with the Sam's Club app. Obviously you can uninstall those if you don't want them, and then it also comes with the movie app here and a TV remote. The Nexus 7, it's just more streamlined. Obviously it doesn't come with any junkware really at all. So as far as apps that you can install, I mean, it's going to be the exact same setup because both devices run the same software. You're going to have the same apps available. You're going to have the same sort of content available on both of these. Obviously, you can get movies and books and everything through Google here. So obviously, there's plenty of content to choose from. Everything seems to load about the same speed on these two devices. It's so close that it's really not much of a differentiating factor if you were deciding between the two. Both got the recent apps list, obviously. Both come with Chrome for web browsing. You can also use the default web browser on the Hisense. For some reason the Google ones don't come with the default browser, but as you can see, page loading is going to be pretty much exactly the same. So I was definitely impressed with the Hisense just because it seems to match most of the Nexus's qualities, but adding the micro SD card slot and the mini HDMI port makes it a lot more functional. I mean, you can do a lot more stuff with those two things alone. So it's definitely something worth considering if you're thinking about getting a 7-inch tablet. I do think these are two of the best 7-inch tablets you can possibly get. It'll be interesting to see what Google does to release a new Nexus 7 here shortly, because definitely this has been out since July of last year, and we're almost to July right now, so they're definitely going to be releasing something new here pretty soon. So it'll be interesting to see where they take that and how it compares with the Hisense after Google does their updates. Some things I don't think Google will add. I don't think they'll add a micro SD card slot, so it'll be interesting to see what else they do to improve their tablet. They could go with a higher resolution screen like the Nook HD has. It'll be interesting to see how this device stacks up with the new Nexus 7 when it comes out. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this comparison right here. Check out the ebookreader.com. I'll have some additional information on there as usual. So thank you for watching these videos, and have a good day.